Hi, third graders. Mrs. D here. Today, I'm going to teach you a new set of letters, which are up and over curve letters. Up and over curve, up and over curve, up and over curve. So we just finished the curve forward letters, and we're going to learn 3 over curve letters, starting with the letter I today. Make sure you're ready with either a blank piece of paper and a pen, or a whiteboard like mine and a marker, and have your lined paper nearby so that when we're ready to move to lined paper, you are also ready. Remember, tracing is still a really important part of learning to write in cursive, so make sure you trace on your letter sheets that you're printing out. Practicing the air is really helpful with your finger. Practicing on your desktop with your fingertip helps, and so do saying the words of the stroke. That's why Mrs. D always says the strokes as I go. So without any further ado, I'm going to show you how to write an overcurve I. Watch carefully. Overcurve letters are some of the hardest letters to slant, so you might want to start right away with the slant of your board. Up and over curve, loop, and give it a hook. That is your I. When kids first see the I, they think it starts over here, but it starts here with an overcurve. Up and over curve, give it a loop, give it a tail. Up and over curve, loop it, give it a tail. Up and over curve, loop it, give it a tail. That is your uppercase I. And even Mrs. D, when writing an uppercase I need to slant my board a bit so I can really get that slant. Up and over curve, give it a loop, give it a tail. Up and over curve, loop, tail. Now, I does not connect to the rest of the letters in a word because it ends over here. So it's not possible for it to do that. So I'll write the name of a state so you can see what it looks like. Up and over curve, give it a loop, give it a tail. Here's Idaho. And here's Iowa. Up and over curve, loop, give it a tail. There is your uppercase I. I'll show you a few more times. This one takes a lot of practice to get right. Up and over curve, give it a loop, give it a tail. Up and over curve, give it a loop, give it a top tail. Now, the biggest mistake I see with I is no slant, because it's super easy to do this instead. So be very careful. Really, really give your board a good slant, and your writing will be slanted too. Up and over curve, give it a loop, give it a tail. And then in that case, you really have to tell yourself up and over. Say self, go up and over. And you may benefit from just practicing a bunch of up and over curves first, so you really get the slant. But the slant is the biggest mistake I see third graders make with the letter I. So that's your I. Let's now try an uppercase J, which starts the same way as an I. So if you can make an I, you can make a J. It's also an up and over curve letter. Watch. Up and over curve, up and over curve, up and over curve. Here's I. Up and over curve, loop, give it a tail. That's I. Watch J. Starts exactly the same way as an I does, except it has a descender that goes to the basement. Up and over curve, give it a loop, drop to the basement, loop back, give it a tail. That is your J. Up and over curve, loop to the basement, loop back, undercurve. Up and over curve, loop straight to the basement, loop again, tail. That is your uppercase J. Up and over curve, loop, tail. Up and over curve, loop, drop to the basement, give it a tail that goes back, undercurve. Up and over curve, loop it, drop to the basement, loop back, tail. Up and over curve, loop, tail. Okay, I think this one's my best one. Now, notice over here, you see that little piece? That's okay if yours has that too. These ones I didn't really loop enough. Watch. Up and over curve, loop it, drop to the basement, loop it again, give it a tail. Now, if you guess that J does connect, uppercase J does connect to other letters, you're correct. And that's because it ends with an undercurve. So it can. Oh, perfect. We're in the month of up and over curve, loop it, drop to the basement, loop again. Here's June. And after June comes up and over curve, loop it, July. And there's two words that always start with uppercase Y. Common J mistakes have to do with the loop and the tail. Watch. This is one that I see, up and over curve, and then I see like an itty bitty loop right there. Be careful of itty bitty loops. And also be careful of ginormous loops that look like this. Those are the two most common J mistakes I see. Okay, I think we're ready for practice on line paper. When you move to line paper, you're ready then to start paying attention to the 4 keys to really legible cursive. That's the size of your letters, the shape of your letters, the slant of your letters, and the spacing between your letters in words, and also between words when you start to write sentences, which now you really can. So I'm going to show you I with the proper size, with the lines, and also J. Again, over curve letters really need slants. So up and over curve, give it a loop, give it a tail. Oops, that'd be helpful if you could see that, huh? Up and over curve, loop, tail. Up and over curve, loop, tail. Now, I know that I tends to give kids a lot of trouble, so you might want to print out the I sheet a few times and practice tracing before you write it on your own. Up and tell your brain over here, over curve, give it a hook and a tail. Up and over curve, loop it, tail. Up and over curve, loop it, and tail. And if I straighten out my paper, you can see I still have a slant. So watch your slant on the I, boys and girls. And let me show you J with the line paper. Same way I started, up and over here, curve, drop to the basement, loop back, give it a tail. Up and over curve, loop, tail. Up and over curve, loop, drop to the basement, loop back, tail. Up and over curve, drop to the basement, loop back, tail. There is your J. Let's see, I can write a sentence, which you can practice too. Let's do it, a J sentence. And third graders know that sentences start with capital letters and end with punctuation marks. Jake lives in Jordan. Okay, boys and girls, the best cursive handwriters are the kids who practice the most. So make sure you practice your cursive. See you next time.